Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
properly.
how are you all today?
We are fine, ma'am.
Okay. Now, last time, that was our first session. We discussed, it's an introduction to educational psychology, if not pedagogical psychology, right? Did you understand the lesson? What we discussed?
This is my first lesson, madam. So I don't have any idea of the lesson. Yeah.
You couldn't join last time, Shamali. Am I right?
Yes, madam. Because today I gave the session link.
Right. Okay. So, did you get the recording?
Still not, ma'am. This is
Yeah,
my
you
first
asked
time.
for the recording
No.
because introduction is very important because different schools of thoughts, all these are discussed. It's like the foundation for the study. So because of that, better if you can ask for the recording and listen to it. And
Okay.
what about those who joined last time? Did you understand what we discussed? Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions on what we discussed? Silence is killing. We call it silent killers. It means that you have not understood anything.
No, ma'am, we have understood.
Right. Okay. Did you receive your recording?
No, ma'am. We did
Then
not receive.
lecture material?
No.
Right. So hereafter, you ask for the lecture material and the recording. Because don't wait till we finish everything and then get ready for the examination. Okay. And daily basis, I think in a month's time, because it's only 10 sessions that we finish it off, then you can have your examinations. And in the meantime that I have to give you my assignments also, right? So because of that, I think better you study on regular basis, because once this module is completed, only that you will be doing some other subject, no, some other module. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because of that, I think you can fully focus on that. It's really good. So do your best. That is what I tell you, is to do your best actually on regular basis, that you have to study. And for examination purpose, you can stick to what I discuss and what I send you as materials. Okay. Then it will be easy for you to actually study for the examination. For your own development, you can actually read more. There are more than enough material available now, because this is this is an era of internet, right? So because of that, you can find extra materials and all that and read. I also can send you, but I don't really want you to be crowded with lots of material. Then you will lose interest. Oh, how can I study all these? Something like that you might feel. Because of that, I will stick to some kind of with a limit only, that I'll be sending you material. So with that, I remember very well, I wanted you to do a small presentation. Be ready for it. Am I right? If I remember right, something like that I told you. Banuka, Vidanage, Mubarika, Shamali is your first day. Sulochana. Did I ask you to?
Madam, this is my first session. I
Okay.
didn't.
Then I think Vidanagi was there that day. If you could not be ready or prepared, it's okay. But please talk, respond.
No, madam, this is my first session.
So everybody is smoother. What about those? Mubarika was there last time.
Yes, ma'am.
You had no time to be ready for that.
Yes, that day we learned pedagogical psychology.
Uh-huh.
Pedagogical mean art and the study of art and science.
Uh-huh.
Psychology mean the scientific study of mind and behavior.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah. Right. Pedagogy means the art and science of teaching. Okay.
so art and
This
science
teaching
of teaching.
related, no, yeah, art and science of teaching. So I explain why it is called art, why it is called science, right?
Okay.
It's okay. Then now I started wondering, only 2 people from last time.
No, 6 or 7 people.
Yeah,
People
there are
now
about 6.
there are about 6 and only 2 have come from that, the other 4 not here. Am I right? Because the others are newcomers now.
Yes, ma'am.
That is very strange. Okay, I can't help it. Anyway, Channa, do you have anything to present to us based on last time's lesson?
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah.
selected the 3 components of mind. According to segment point, he has mentioned conscious mind, preconscious mind, and unconscious mind. If I talk about conscious mind, it takes less than 10% of our mind. And here especially he talks about the feeling and thoughts that are in present or else now. Here current situation of mind is explained. The feelings like happiness, sadness, jealous, kindness, like that. If I talk about the second part, preconscious mind, this part also takes less than 10% of our whole mind. Here, experiences and emotions, what we can recall, are discussed. As example, we can say we have stored a lot of things in our mind. If we can memorize them, recall them, those things are discussed under this part. Those things are function. And last part, unconscious mind. Here we discuss it takes more than 80% of our whole mind. And the thing is, here we don't know what is stored in this part of our brain. But here he explains that the personality that we have today has been made with the experiences that we had from our childhood. Those all the experiences have made us into this level of person. Thank you.
Very good. That you talk about this iceberg analogy of the 3 components of mind, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And today, actually, it's also from your syllabus. We will discuss what is child development. Okay. What is child development? And one of the child development theories today, because we have only 2 hours. Then cognitive development, discussed by, of course, I will message you. What is it? I don't understand. Then so let me share the PowerPoint I have prepared for you, and then okay. This point, yes. Can you see the PowerPoint chat?
No, madam.
No. That share option will. Today I don't see the share option. Can I give the share option? Full screen. Now it is here. The share option is there. Right, okay. Now I think it's visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's visible.
So, yeah. Today we are discussing developmental psychology, not lifespan development, because in your syllabus, growth and development is one big topic. But we have to select the development related to pedagogy, that is teaching. Okay. So, all these aspects, like when you were inside the mother's womb, right? You call it prenatal, and all these things are not discussed, but basically, which is related to teaching and development. Those two areas are taken into consideration in selecting the content. Okay. So then outline will be this. I first get you to actually define development. In psychology, we call it lifespan development. Okay. So we'll first discuss that. What is meant by development, right? Then we will distinguish between growth and development. Is it the same, or they are connected, or they are totally different concepts? Then 2.3, aspects of development of the whole child, because that is the purpose, goal of education. Education for the development of the whole child. So what are the, so we are discussing development. So what are the aspects or areas of development of the whole child? We will be having a small discussion on that. Then we have to discuss the most important for the teachers, 2.4, factors that affect child's growth and development. Factors that affect child's growth and development. Because as teachers, you have to facilitate the development of the child. So if you are to facilitate, if you are to help the child's development, promote the child's development, then actually you have to know what factors affect them. Okay, affecting. Then we will discuss some theories of lifespan development, and today I will discuss Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Okay, that is our plan for the day. Is it clear to you what we are going to discuss today?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, very good. So then we'll get to this. This is actually a definition of lifespan development. So we are looking at the development, how to define it. Okay, what's the meaning of development? So development is a change. Okay, development is a change. So what kind of a change? And from when to when, and what aspects and how it happens? That is what you can include in the definition of lifespan development. So according to psychologists, okay, human growth and changes. Human growth and changes. Changes in which areas? They are the aspects. So I have highlighted them: physical, cognitive, social, intellectual, perceptual, personality, and emotional growth. That growth and change in different aspects, different areas. You can't say it's only physical. Now you have a student in the class, very tall, very big made and all that, but he is not a socially developed. He fights with others. He always actually gets into moods. He doesn't kind of study. He doesn't communicate with people very well. He's bad in his behavior. You can't consider it as development. Okay? So development is not only physical, just because that they learn, cognitive development is there, but emotionally not stable, fights, right? He fights, he misbehaves. So that kind of development is not developed. It has to be a balanced one, developing in all the areas. As I have said, these are the areas. So growth or changes in different aspects of the child from when to when. What do you think about from when to when? From when to when? When does it begin, the development, and when does it end? I'm asking you. Once development, when does it start? When does it end? Can you tell me? When does it begin or when does it end? Just have a guess. කවදාද ඒක වැඩි වෙන්න develop වෙන්නේ කවදා ඉඳන්ද පටන් ගන්නේ කවදා වෙනකද? Can you tell me?
From womb to
From womb to tomb. Am I
Yeah.
right?
From womb
Yes,
to
Womb to
death.
tomb. Womb කියන්නේ පටන් ගත්ත තැන අම්මගේ බඩේ නේද?
Yeah.
Inside the mother's womb. And tomb කියලා කියන්නේ your death grave.
Yeah, till our death.
Right? Yeah. So it says from conception to death. What is it? From conception to death. Conception is you actually, the ovum and the sperm. Sperm from the father, ovum from the mother, they get united inside the mother's womb. That one cell, right? So that is conception. There itself, the development begins. And then until you die, the development takes place. Because you know, sometimes when you're very old, you know you are actually spiritually developing.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe not physically, but spiritually developing. Development is not only one or two aspects, right? It involves different aspects. So from womb to tomb, if not, you can say from conception to death, different aspects, changes across lifespan from concept to death, different aspects. How? In stages. How? In stages. What are those stages? Prenatal. Prenatal. Before birth, inside the mother's womb. Prenatal. Here you can see the stages. Prenatal and postnatal, after birth. Postnatal. Prenatal before birth. Postnatal after birth. Right? Development takes place in stages. Prenatal inside the mother's womb. Postnatal after birth. Birth up to 2 years, infancy. 2 to 11 years, childhood. 11 to 18 years, adolescence or teenage. 18 to 65 years, adulthood. 65 plus old age. These are the stages of development. Can you say what are the stages of development? Basically, there are two. What are the two? What are the two?
Conception to death.
No, Putra. Prenatal
Prenatal
stage,
postnatal.
postnatal stage.
Postnatal.
Prenatal means before birth,
Before birth.
inside the mother's womb.
Womb.
Postnatal after
After birth.
birth. After birth, postnatal into some other stages. What are they?
0
Birth
to
up to 2,
infancy.
infancy. 2 years to 11,
Childhood.
childhood.
11 to
11
18.
to 18,
Adolescence. Teenage.
adolescence, teenage. 18 to 65,
Adulthood.
adulthood. We call it atrama young adulthood, middle adulthood, late adulthood, like that. Then 65 plus,
Old age.
old age. Now, of course, these age demarcations are changing. Okay. In some countries, actually, 65 is not old age. Okay. That is it. Then, now I think you can easily define development. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have to say the changes across lifespan from conception to death, areas or aspects like physical, cognitive, social, intellectual. It happens in stages, prenatal and postnatal, important. If you write that definition, referring to these keywords and areas, your definition is really good. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, very good. So can I get one of you to just define lifespan development? Just define lifespan development. Can you?
Lifespan development means the growth and the changes of human from prenatal to postnatal.
What else you have to add? Aspects. Aspects means cognition, physical, motor development, language development, social development, emotional development, like that should be added. Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Then I'm going to get you to have a look at
Hello. Hello, can't hear.
Hello, ma'am. Are you there?
Can you see the slides?
Sorry.
Can you see the slides I'm sharing?
Yeah, same one. Define life span development.
Okay, you can see, right? Right. Now our second point. Growth and development. Is it the same or it's different? You can read what I have said here. Though they are not the same, there's a connection. Okay, though they are not the same, they are connected. What is the difference between growth and development? If you forget about this, look at a country, right? Because of oil, long time back, Arab, right? They had a lot of money, but it was not a developed country. I'm referring to about 50 years ago, right? Because the other areas like happiness of people, infrastructure, education, security and safety, all these aspects should be contributed, right? For a country to say that it's a developed country. Likewise, if you actually refer to or relate it to human beings, growth is just physical, right? You know, you have all brains, you have all bronze, but not brain skill, right? You are tall, you are kind of big made, you have actually physically grown. It does not mean that the development has taken place in the child. So you have to say growth is physical, but development, right? It is not only physical. It includes physical aspect, but there are other aspects as well, as we discuss cognitive development, social development, emotional development, spiritual development, language development, all these come into play, personality development and all that, right? So that is the main difference. Growth is increase in size and length, but development includes all the other aspects. So growth can be quantitatively measured. You are 5 feet tall. You are 60 kilograms in weight. So you can measure growth quantitatively in numbers. But development, you can't measure development in numbers quantitatively. Instead, development is measured qualitatively. That means you have to tell emotionally balanced person, right? He can face challenges without getting stressed, right? He is a team player. So all these are actually not measured by numbers, but qualitatively you measure. As a teacher in your classroom, right? You have to actually use these qualitative measurements, because as a teacher, you actually facilitate the development of all these aspects: social development, emotional development, right? You have to actually measure them. So you will be using observation schedules, and you will be writing anecdotal reports and all that. So growth and development, that is how it differs. So as a teacher, you will be facilitating growth or development. My last question for you on this topic. As a teacher, you will be facilitating growth or development.
Development.
Definitely, yes. Growth is a part of it. Growth is a part of it. Okay. Hope it is understood. So I'm telling you that you have to know your role as a teacher. You just walk into the classroom, just cover the syllabus, get your students to get 100 out of 100, and you think you're the best teacher on earth. Wrong. You have to cater to their emotional development, social development through your teaching, right? That is why later on that you will learn, when you teach a lesson to your students, maybe you're teaching mathematics, maybe you're teaching English language. Through that particular lesson, each and every lesson, each and every teaching session, you have cognitive domain objectives, you have affective domain objectives, you have psychomotor domain objectives. Other words, 3H: head knowledge, heart attitudes, affective domain, hand skills. Then only that you can actually get them to be balanced. So your role, you have to understand. Psychology, your knowledge of psychology helps a lot in actually defining or understanding your role as a teacher. I have come across teachers, those who actually focus only on giving subject matter. I don't think that is the role of the teacher in the 21st century. With the subject matter, you have to get them to develop their attitudes, skills, ability to be a team player, cooperative learning and engagement in cooperative activities, emotional stability, affective domain. All that should be actually developed. That is why we distinguish between growth and development, because you have to understand your role is to facilitate development. Even in one lesson that you teach, you have 3 domains to cater to. You will be learning them later on. Head, heart, and hand. Not only head, that is cognition, knowledge, not only knowledge, but heart, attitudes, affective domain, and skills, motor skills. All these should be developed. Okay, is it clear? The message is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any questions from the class? Any questions from the class?
Sorry.
Any questions from you? No.
No, ma'am.
No more
Okay, all
question, ma'am.
good. But next time, don't get absent just because that I give you some work. I want you to actually come prepared for a 2-minute kind of presentation, means just talk about a topic that I discussed today. You have to select one
Excuse
and
me,
discuss.
I
Yeah.
also was there in the class that day, but I told you, madam, it was not clear that day. There's a problem in my phone.
You
So
told
I
me,
couldn't
no?
involve your lecture that day, madam. So I hope you will send the video. But
It's not me. You have to get all these from the institute for that.
That's why, madam.
Yeah, you actually communicate with them and get hold of the
Okay.
recording, and I will send you the lecture notes of session 1 and session 2, and make your own notes and take interest and do this. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
Don't
Thank
think
you.
just to get the pass mark and then pass and just to get the certificate. No. Once you get your B.Ed, you should be professional.
Yeah.
Right? That difference should be seen by others. Okay? So
Yes.
you do this not for the sake of your qualification. That is also important. Qualifications matter, but not only for that sake. Okay? For that,
Okay.
get engaged in regular studies and all that. And it will help you to actually one fine day to do your postgraduate studies also. Because by doing that, you develop your study skills. Okay? Right. Okay. And we'll move on to the third topic then. Okay. Third topic is, look at this. Aspects of development of the whole child. I think I have discussed that. Aspects: physical, social, cognitive, emotional. You can add some others also. Language, motor, spiritual, like that. Okay. But basically, they identify physical development, social development. What is social? Now, physical development means you have to grow tall, you have to gain weight, you have to actually have physical fitness. You should be able to use your body kinesthetically in executing work, and all that is physical. Social. Social development means your ability to relate to others. Social development means your ability to relate to others. There are those who do not actually develop this aspect. Why? They actually do not know how to work in a team. They get angry with others. They are not happy when they have to actually help others. They do not know their responsibility, social responsibility. They are very selfish. They actually don't think of others in using public kind of assets and all that. So that means they have not developed their social aspect. They don't know their own social responsibilities, right? The cognitive is their ability to think, understand, comprehend, problem solve, right? Logical thinking and all that. So through education, we actually give a big kind of weightage to cognitive development. But it doesn't mean it has to be only cognitive development that we have to facilitate through education. Okay. Emotional development is very important nowadays. IQ is cognitive development. No, IQ, you have a very good IQ. So it's cognitive development. But now, of course, more than the IQ, we talk about EQ. What is it? EI, if not. What is it? Emotional intelligence. EI means emotional intelligence. What is this emotional intelligence now we are talking about? Anybody? Emotional intelligence?
Happiness.
Okay.
Emotions mean our feelings, no, madam?
Definitely, yes. That ability to understand and control one's own feelings and emotions, and ability to understand others' emotions as well. We can't understand our own emotions. We can't understand others' emotions as well. How he will feel. You have to get into one's shoes and see, feel it. That hardly happens. But now education should strike a balance between developing IQ and EQ. IQ is intelligence quotient. EQ is emotional quotient, right? So now education is for both, not only IQ. They are new concepts. You're a failure if you are a teacher who actually gets your students to get all A's, but disregard the rest of the development in the child. Right? Because that kind of a child will not survive in the society. They will be a kind of a curse to the society. Right? What is the purpose of a highly educated person who doesn't actually know how to be happy with others, who is angry all the time, who is actually not helpful to anybody, who is selfish? All these kind of their own actually faults will make them very unhappy at the end of the day. As you said, happiness, emotional intelligence, because at the end of the day you have to be happy. To be happy, you have to have those qualities developed in you. Otherwise you're very unhappy because you're very competitive, not cooperative, right? You're very selfish, not selfless. You're very egocentric, so you think only of yourself. You can't tolerate others, like that. So today's teachers, they have to strike a balance between IQ and EQ. So all these are facilitated by the teachers in the learning teaching process. Okay, not only cognition. Is it clear to you?
Indeed, ma'am.
Yeah. I want you to understand this. Okay, and then when you walk into the classroom as a teacher, you have to know your responsibility. You have to know your professional kind of role. You just walk into the class. I want them to get all A's for my subject. Then the principal will be happy. Parents will be happy. That's all. Like machines, you get them to work like machines, and you're also very mechanical. No time for any other thing. For getting them to get them to actually be with others, work in a group, engage in social activities, nothing. That is not the role of the teacher anymore. I hope it's clear. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Then this is important. 2.4. Factors that affect child's growth and development. Factors that affect child's growth and development. Right. 2.4 we are discussing. Okay. If anyone has any PDF notes, please send me to. Fine. Then okay. Factors that affect child's growth and development. I have given you 2 factors. You can make your own notes also while listening, right? Factors that affect child's growth and development. I have given you 2. What are the 2? First one, nature. Nature versus nurture debate.
Nature debate.
Nature versus nurture debate.
Nature.
If not, I will give you another term for nature. Nature is what? Heredity. 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 What you get from your parents in your genes. Right? Heredity. Heredity. Nature. Nurture means environment. Nurture means environment. Okay. Now here, what are the factors that affect child's growth and development? One factor is nature versus nurture. Right? Your individual's development, it can be due to nature or heredity, nurture or environment. Now you know, now you think of yourself. What have you got your parents? What is in your genes from your parents that you have get it? You have got it. Maybe from your grandparents and all that. Maybe that you have your grandfather's eyes. Maybe you have your grandmother's skin complexion like that. Maybe you have your mom's a kind of hair. You have your father's voice. Your actually father is very hot-tempered and you have got it from him, temperaments. Likewise, you get your heredity, the blueprint. So your development depends on that. Your development depends on that. Okay? And at the same time, nurture is environment. Environment actually is everything not within you is your environment in psychology. What is your environment in psychology? Can you tell me? What is your environment in psychology?
Our surrounding.
It's surrounding trees and animals, all that.
No, people we
People, your
associate
family, your siblings.
and our peers, friends.
Our society.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am. Hello.
Yeah, both of your they do reading at home. So definitely your environment is very favorable. You also, without knowing, will get into reading and it will actually help you to do your studies very well. So that is your environment. Okay? So you have to know the students that you meet in your class, their development depends on this nature and nurture. There can be students, those who have very high intelligence inherited from the parents. There can be students, those, though their IQ is very low, they have got it from the family. And at the same time, there can be students, those who have a very favorable environment for learning at home. right? And the grandmother helps the child in his studies and all that. And there can be some set of students, those who come from very kind of crowded places. There is no actually way of actually doing any studies at home. Mother is abroad and father is a drunkard. They live in slums. So their favorable environment is not there. Sometimes he might have got very high IQ, but his environment is not good. So your students' development, right? It's a matter of nature and nurture. And it's a debate. How much of nature, how much of nurture is not sure. Nobody knows. It's still a debate in psychology. Now you think of yourself. I really want you to talk to me. What is your nature? What is your nurture? What is the contribution as you think when it comes to your own development? Can I get you to talk? It would be really interesting. As you think, right? It will not be 100%. As you think. Can't you talk? Can't you talk? ඔයාට අම්මලාගෙන් හම්බ වෙච්ච මොන හරි දෙයක් කියන්නේ දෙමව්පියන්ගෙන් හම්බුණා ආච්චිලාගෙන් හම්බ වෙච්ච. Normally what do you get? What do you inherit?
Our appearance.
Definitely our physical appearance is inherited. No?
Yeah.
Now, what have you got from your mom? What have you got from your father?
And ma'am, and also we get the way we think sometimes. That means how
Yes,
we
yes.
plan something.
Temperaments,
and
feelings,
styles,
also
yeah.
personalities. Yes,
Style
yes.
also sometimes we will get from our relations, no?
Definitely, yes. And sometimes sicknesses. Now they say, no, that some cancers are inherited. No, it's in the family. Diabetes and all that. And mental retardation, mental sicknesses and all that. Sometimes they are inherited. And complexion, physical features, IQ. Yes. So I'm asking, what have you got from your parents? Something obvious. Just think of yourself. No. Mahitana, my question is not clear to you, Vedati.
Appearance and our thoughts.
No, I'm asking just appearance. What appearance? Have you got your mom's hair? Whether you have
Our
got your
height,
father's eyes?
Our height, hair, complexion.
So I'm asking, it's personalized. So when it comes to you, what have you got from your mom? Your father? Just ask you. You just think of yourself. You look like your mom. You have got your mom's hair. You have got your father's voice.
I look
What is
like
this?
my father.
You look like your father, right? Okay. I'm the opposite of it. I think 99% of my mom. Right.
Because mom is dark in color, father is very fair. So
you're fair.
I'm little fair, like yellow in color. So I got it from father.
Right. That means your complexion is from your father.
Yeah.
That is what I asked
And
you.
hair from my mother.
Right. Okay. Then others, just for a change, I'm asking you to make you think. We'll ask one and only Channa.
Ma'am, I do not look like mother or father. My mom is different and father is, but I look like my uncles.
That is
There
it.
are
That
about
is how it happens.
4 uncles.
You know,
the same teachers are with me.
Definitely, yes. You know, even twins are not actually share the same blueprint. You know, even now there are two types of twins now. identical twins and but anyway, no twins are actually look like the same and all that, and all the temperaments are similar and all that. That is yes. And most of the time you look like your uncles and aunts, and there are billion combinations are possible. What are combinations that are, you have heard of these genes that combination is billion-fold. So we do not know. That is where karma comes into play. No? That is something like that. Anyway, now what you have to understand is through nature versus nurture debate as factors affecting child's development. This is what you have to get into your heads. Okay. Now you have to know, maybe in one of your classes. Now you teach in one class today. It's 40 students in a class, maybe 35 students in a class. And all will not learn to the same extent. Why? Their nature, what they inherit, their motivation, their intelligence, they have a role to play. And their nurture, that is their home environment, their classroom environment, teachers' input, and all that have a role to play. So they all will not learn it to the same extent. So individual differences will be there based on this nature and nurture. Because we all are a combination of our nature and nurture. Right? We all are a combination of nature and nurture. So you have to understand, you do the same lesson, the same way, same visuals, same explanation and everything. But all the 40 will not learn it to the same extent. Why? The nature and nurture, those factors affect. How much is the combination and how much weightage, we don't know. That is the insight for you from this. Got it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then the second factor that affects lifespan development. The second factor is maturity versus learning. What is the second factor that affects lifespan development of the child? Maturation versus learning. You can take it down. Maturation, yeah.
I that PDF PowerPoint presentation. Can others see?
No, you can see.
You can see, yeah.
Now,
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, we don't see. Yeah.
you
sees
can't
that.
see that. No, let me share. Okay, sorry about it. Okay. Now I think it's visible.
Now it's visible, ma'am.
Visible, no? Right. Now here, learning versus maturation, another factor that affects life development of the child. Okay. I will explain it in a very simple manner. Maturation is physiological needs. Maturation is actually process of becoming mature or developed mentally and physically. Process of becoming mature, developed both mentally and physically. I will tell you it like this. Now you think of a newly born child, right? It's a newly born child. So can the child start walking as soon as the child is born?
Can't.
No.
Can't. Right. As soon as the child is born, can the child speak?
No.
Why? The physical maturation is not there. The physical maturation is not there. And more or less, the average child will start walking by 10 months to 1 year. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it differ very kind of in a big way when it comes to human beings? No. More or less, the child will actually, any child, if it's a proper, nothing wrong with the child, average child, ordinary child, and the child will start walking by the age of 10 months or 1 year. That is why the maturation is there. Then only the child is ready to walk. Then when the child is ready to walk, you can give it a walker to facilitate it. He is put into a walker. Now he actually can easily learn to walk. Right? So by the age of 18 months, 15 months, like the child starts speaking. Before that, the child doesn't start speaking. The child doesn't speak. Why? That maturation is not there. The maturation is not there. So now suppose the child is only 1 month. You think I want my child to be the best in the world. So because of that, you want the child to walk. So you try to actually get the child to walk. What will happen? It will break its legs. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Similarly, I repeat, similarly, when it comes to learning also, you have to wait till the child is mature to learn. Readiness, we call it readiness. Physical or mental readiness should be there. If the readiness is not there, if you try to actually get the child to do something, learn something, the same principle. If you get the child to walk by the age of 2 months, it will break its legs. Similarly, if you get the child to do something, learn something before the child is mature or ready, it will actually be a traumatizing experience for the child. It will definitely be a traumatizing experience for the child. Before the readiness is there, before the maturity is there, you can't get the child to actually learn. It is disastrous. It is traumatic. But unfortunately, parents are ignorant, teachers are ignorant, administrators, educational administrators are ignorant, and they really get the students. They really don't want to wait till the readiness or the maturity is there for the child to learn. You understand what I'm telling you?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now you know in Sri Lanka, we don't have actually a proper monitoring system for early childhood education, Montessori and all that. Right? Then you actually, both parents are working because of that mothers, they put the child into a nursery and Montessori. And the Montessori teacher and the parent, mother, both want the child to actually do things before the child is mature or ready. Now they say until the child is 6, that the child doesn't have to hold a pencil and write letters, form letters. But most of the Montessoris, by the age of 3, like they give the pencil to the child to write letters. It's wrong. The child will do that because you actually are like giving a walker. You actually get the child to do that. But it is traumatic. The child can't enjoy that. Right? But if you wait till the child is ready, the literature says by the age of 5 or 6, if you wait till the child is ready, it's an enjoyable activity for the child. And the child will just learn it without any halagan. It's a matter of waiting till the readiness comes. So maturation should be there for subsequent learning to take place. I will tell you one more example. Now suppose a child is born with a split palate. තල්ල කැඩිච්ච ළමෙක් ඉපදෙන්න පුළුවන්. There's some deformation like that. So you can't get the child to actually learn to speak because maturation is not there. Mental or physical process of readiness, it is not there. The child can't engage in subsequent learning. Wait till the maturation is there. The child can engage in subsequent learning enjoyably, effective. Got my point? There's some insights for you. So don't force anything. Wait till the child is ready. So how do you know when and where the child is ready? Piaget discusses them. Some other theories discuss them. And you know when it comes to curriculum development, the syllabuses are set accordingly. So you have to know these things to become a professional teacher. Okay. So I discuss factors that affect child's growth and development. I discuss two important factors. There are other factors as well. They are not directly connected with teaching and learning. Okay, because of that continuity, discontinuity, like that. But I don't discuss them because our module is pedagogical psychology. So I have to always relate it to teaching and learning. So I selected these two factors that affect child's growth and development, nature versus nurture. What is the insight for you? Individual differences, and they will not learn to the same extent. They are a product of nature and nurture. You have to be aware of it and be mindful about it. And learning and maturation versus learning, there should be the readiness, physical or mental, for them to subsequently engage in learning. So wait till the readiness is there. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, if you all are actually in-service teachers, you all already teach in schools. So have you ever thought of these things before?
Actually, madam, we follow them, but theory we don't know.
Right.
We didn't
Okay.
theory.
Now you can think it in a better way. Am I right?
Yes,
Yeah,
why not, ma'am?
definitely. Okay. So with that, I have covered 2.1. What is 2.1? Defining development. Okay. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. 2.2, second session, second subtopic, distinguishing between growth and development. And you know, you all facilitate development. Then 2.3, what did we discuss? Can you remember? 2.3, aspects of development. Aspects of development. So 2.4, factors that affect child's growth and development as nature versus nurture and learning versus maturation. Okay. Now we come to the last part of it, theories of development, and I will discuss today Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Yeah, very important for teachers. Any teacher who has done some psychology should know this Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. we are
What
ready.
do you know about Piaget? Anything that you know about Piaget? Right or wrong, doesn't matter. Have you heard of Jean Piaget? And what do you know about him? Anything? දන්නවද මොනවා හරි නැද්ද? Channa, what are you studying there in Russia?
Ma'am, I was studying Russian language.
For the purpose of?
Actually, there is no purpose. Just I came as a
Just-
student and I started.
So just to learn Russian only you went to Russia?
No, ma'am. I had planned to do a degree or something, but the situation here is not good with the war, so I can't manage all the things as I planned.
So can you actually, you are allowed to do some work and earn?
Yeah, ma'am, we can, but we can't earn much. We earn about 1 lakh here, but in Sri Lanka, I earn more than 4 lakh per month.
That is an issue. No, now are you safe because of the war?
Yeah, ma'am.
Actually,
Yeah, actually, ma'am, we are safe. I think day before yesterday also 4 drones came to Moscow and there was a small trouble, but they are not big issues here. No any harm to Russian people.
right. Okay. Right. Now back to Piaget then. Okay. Right. Now here, now we are discussing development of the child. But when it comes to Jean Piaget, right? Jean Piaget, he actually developed a theory to discuss how cognitive development take place in the child. Okay. Piaget or Jean Piaget put forwarded, formulated a theory to discuss how cognitive development happens in the child. So it is termed as Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Is termed as Piaget's theory of cognitive development. Okay. Is it clear? Is it clear? This theory discusses, what does this theory discuss? What does this theory discuss?
Cognitive development.
Yeah, cognitive development of the child. How it happens. Okay? I think for teachers, it's very useful. For teachers, it's very useful. And it's actually very common theory in these teacher education programs. Okay? When it comes to now, I want to tell you, psychology is a bit of science, and there are theories, a lot of theories. So you have to know the terminology, you have to study. Otherwise, just before the exam, if you think that I can study all this, it will not help you in psychology. Okay, for many, psychology is a difficult subject because you don't engage in regular studies. Because this is not something that you can just think and write. Okay, because of that, my advice, Putta, collect material, recording, and what I send you. Because I'm going to send the paper, I have selected the content which is most applicable to pedagogical psychology, right? So because of that, what I send you as material, you study them and the recording. And 10 days, so 20 hours, you are edified. I'm actually making you go there, achieve reach that target if you do your part. So because theories are just actually you come think and write, you have to know it. Because of that, please do regular studies. With that, Piaget's theory of cognitive development, it discusses how cognitive development happens in children. Okay, so if you want to discuss Piaget's theory, you have to pay attention to two main components. You have to pay attention to two main components. Can you see two main components that I'm actually showing you?
Yes,
Can you
ma'am.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
First thing is the cognitive process. You have to talk about the cognitive process. Then you have to talk about the stages of cognitive development. Stages of cognitive development. So we'll first start with cognitive process. Okay. To discuss the cognitive process, that is how the cognition develops. Okay. Cognitive process, how the cognition develops in the child. To discuss that, Piaget himself coined these 4 terms or words, right? To talk about cognitive process in this theory of cognitive development. He discusses the cognitive process, if not how cognitive development takes place. And to discuss that cognitive process, he coined, Piaget himself, එයාම තමයි මේ වචන අදාගත්තේ. මේ theory එක ගැන කතා කරන්න, cognitive process එක ගැන කතා කරන්න. What are those 4 words coined by him? Schema or schemata, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. Can you read the 4 words coined by Piaget to discuss cognitive process? Can you read it from the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Schema,
Assimilation,
accommodation, and equilibration.
Accommodation.
Right. So now we have to know what they are. Right? We have to know what they are. Schema or schemata. You can take it down. Schema or schemata. Here I have put it here. Schema. The schema is not changed, it's only modified. So I will actually use my own words. You can later on read them. Schema is building blocks of knowledge. You can take it down. He refers to schema. Schema can be there can be other meanings to schemas. But he himself coined these words, put forward this theory. So in this theory, schema or schemata means dash building blocks of knowledge. Building blocks of knowledge. Right? So what is meant by building blocks of knowledge? Now you have to actually, it's not something tangible, okay? Now if you take the word dining in a restaurant, the concept of dining in a restaurant, the concept of dining in a restaurant. There are different actually knowledge related to dining in a restaurant you have in your mind. Am I right? Am I right? Maybe that you think it's self-service, right? You have to first serve the soup. Like you have to make a booking. Like that, you have your own experiences in dining in a restaurant. Am I right? Okay, that is schemata. So now you think of yourself. You will be having millions of schematas, maybe thousands of schematas in you relating to different concepts. Right? You know, you can ride a motorbike. So you have a schemata related to it. I don't ride a motorbike. So I don't have a schema related to it. A well-developed one. We don't know how to actually fly a plane, but a pilot knows. So his schemata is there. Right? Likewise, we are having so thousands and thousands of schematas in us related to different concepts. But I want to ask you this question. These schematas are static or they undergo changes? These schemas are static or they don't change or they change?
They can change, no, madam.
Definitely they change. Why? Now you think of, now you think of something like this. Now, the very first time that you made a dal curry, right? And now, after watching YouTube videos and after experimenting with everyday cooking dal curries and all that, now your schemata on dal curry, it's the same or it's not the same?
It's not the same because we are
It's
learning
not the same, definitely.
different
So
ways.
they undergo change. So according to Piaget, this cognitive development, right? That cognition is our understanding, our knowledge, our understanding, okay? Our thinking, they do not remain the same. They undergo changes, and it is referred to as cognitive development. Okay. Now I have a question. As soon as a child is born, a newly born child, do they have schematas?
Yes, ma'am.
Why do you say so?
Because they suck. That means they can feed well.
Definitely yes, definitely yes. We call them reflexes, REFLEXES. We call them reflexes. But they have lots of reflexes? Can they do lot of things? No.
No.
Very
But
few schematas are available. As you said, crying, sucking, swallowing, hooting.
Those are their
Yeah,
needs, madam, so they expect.
yes, definitely, yes. But what happens later on? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, what happens?
They learn and they
They
catch.
develop, right? By coordinating these reflexes, they develop. So that is it, okay? Then there are schematas. So the schematas actually undergo changes. These schematas undergoing changes, that means the cognition develop. How does it develop? How does it develop? Through the process of assimilation and accommodation. These schematas undergo changes or develop, cognition develop. How do they develop? Through the processes of, can you read the two words? Can you read the two words?
Stimulation.
Assimilation and
Assimilation and
accommodation.
accommodation.
Definitely, yes. Now I have to give you an example. This assimilation and accommodation are overlapping processes. Assimilation and accommodation are overlapping processes. What is meant by overlapping? Both happen at the same time. Both happen at the same time. Now you understand it like this. Now the existing schemata about dogs. Existing schemata about dogs. That is what you already know about dogs, right? And new knowledge, new experience about dogs. So once the existing knowledge and the new knowledge or the experience. Now, for something that you have an existing knowledge, then you actually come across new experiences, face new experience. There's new knowledge for you. And if the existing knowledge and new knowledge, existing knowledge helps in understanding new knowledge, they are matching. Existing knowledge helps in understanding new knowledge. That is assimilation, process of assimilation. Now the existing knowledge, you know something about dogs, and new knowledge, they don't match. They don't match. So to understand new knowledge, you have to actually remove some existing knowledge. To adopt new knowledge, you have to accommodate new knowledge, you have to actually do away with some existing knowledge. You have to change the existing knowledge. That is accommodation. So all the overlapping processes of assimilation and accommodation. I will give you an example from a psychology book. Are you all listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Others?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right. Now I'm talking about assimilation and accommodation as overlapping processes in cognitive development. Okay, expanding schema, existing knowledge and the new knowledge matches. Existing knowledge helps in understanding new knowledge assimilation. Accommodation, to understand new knowledge, to accommodate new knowledge, you have to change the existing knowledge. So let's see an example. It's from a psychology book, not my own example. A small child, a baby, right? She has seen only the pet dog at home. It's a white Pomeranian. So the child's schemata about dogs, because she has seen only the pet dog at home. White dogs are white in color. They have fur. They are small in size. They have 4 legs. They have 2 ears. They bark. That's the concept of dog in the child, because she has exposed only this dog. And then the neighbors, they also brought a dog, and it's also a Pomeranian, but brown in color. Now the child's concept of dogs, the child thinks, it's a dog because it's full of fur, it has 4 legs, it barks, it is small in size. That is all assimilation. But previously child thought all dogs are white. Now the child know, all dogs are not white, there can be brown dogs as well. So to accommodate that new knowledge, the existing knowledge, all dogs are white is shed. What is it? It's accommodation. And both are overlapping processes. It happens at the same time. Got my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Are they? Yeah. Please ask.
Ma'am, under assimilation and accommodation, does assimilation mean the knowledge that we already
No.
has?
The already
accommodation.
what we know is helpful in understanding new knowledge.
New knowledge, yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Assimilate.
If you give a definition for assimilation, accommodation mean we see the new thing and get to understand with past memories or past knowledge. Is that so?
No, Buddha. We have to think like this. If it is assimilation, you have to use the 2 words. Existing schemata is the existing knowledge. Okay? Pavatina danuma, existing knowledge.
Okay.
And new experience or new knowledge. That is how the learning happens. To understand the new knowledge, the existing knowledge helps. That is assimilation. The existing knowledge of dogs, they bark, they have 4 legs, they are full of fur, they are small in size, they all help. So it's assimilation. It's a dog. Am I right?
Okay, ma'am, understood.
Then accommodation, you have to connect the 2. Existing schemata about dogs or existing knowledge about dogs. And then the new knowledge, new experience. There's a mismatch. Because in the existing knowledge, all dogs are white. In the new experience, there can be brown dogs as well. So you have to accommodate new knowledge. There can be brown dogs also. By removing the existing knowledge, dogs are all white. Got it? So the definition here, in assimilation, the schema is not changed. It's only modified. In accommodation, the schema is altered. The new schema may develop. Assimilation is a process of adaptation by which new knowledge is taken into the pre-existing schemata. Accommodation is a process of adaptation that which the pre-existing schema is altered in order to fit in the new knowledge. Got it? Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I will give you another example. It's from my own friend. Okay. About 10 years back, she went to Japan for her PhD. Right? She's a highly posh, she's very posh. So she's very rich also, not like me. So she used to actually go to all these hotels for dinner outs and restaurants and all that. But when so she has her concept or schemata about dining out in restaurants. And when she went to Japan, she's a foodie anyway. So when she went to Japan, she wanted to try, she went to the cafeteria or the university canteen. And she wanted to try all the foodies there and all that. So it's our nature. So we actually eat a lot. So she has actually taken a lot of food and she has gone to the counter for billing. And that cashier has told her, I have to bill your platter for, I have to bill it for 4 platters. Why? Only 1/4 of starch is allowed in a platter. And your platter is full of starch. So because of that, if I'm to bill this, I have to bill this for 4 platters. So at the age of actually 40, she had to actually change a schemata on dining in a restaurant. Am I right or not? Am I right or not?
Right.
Right. So accommodation, that is accommodation. Okay. Assimilation is self-help. You take the food and then you go to the cashier before you eat. All these things are done. That is assimilation. But accommodation is hereafter. You have to check for that. How much is starch allowed and all that. So it's a new thing for her. Right? And equilibration, I will actually explain that as well. And I show you a nice video on assimilation and accommodation. Equilibration, according to Piaget, when we have only existing knowledge, we are in a state of equilibration, balance. Okay. Once we encounter new knowledge, new experiences in the classroom that you teach new knowledge, they become in a state of disequilibrium. Your students are in a state of disequilibrium. Then naturally, they want to get back to equilibration. So they actually undergo the process of assimilation and accommodation to bring that equilibration back to them. So once new knowledge experiences are encountered, you are in a disequilibration. So you want the equilibration back. So you engage in the process of assimilation and accommodation, and you want the equilibration back. That is how the cognitive development takes place according to Piaget. So now let me actually show you a video on assimilation and accommodation. Let me play it for you. Can you give me a second?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, not this one. I'm sorry. Not this one. I have put 3 here. Most probably, maybe this. No, not this one as well. I'm sorry about it.
Never mind, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is the one then. This is on assimilation and accommodation. It's very interesting for a change. It's really good. Let's see. Let's see. This is the. No. This is also not the one. I'm sorry. I want to locate it. Give me a second, okay? This is the one. It's there. I think that I have to share it. Wait. Which share sound. And I think this is the one. Let's see. Yeah.
You an
Yeah.
illustration.
Can you hear the
of a co-
computer sounds?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear the sound.
Yeah. Can you see this video play?
Half
Yes, ma'am, we can see, but it's very small, ma'am.
No, I'm going to make it open
Okay,
bigger.
ma'am. We can.
Yeah.
concepts that Piaget put forth of assimilation, accommodation, and schema. I'm at the Piaget stages of cognitive
Are you all
development
good?
put forth by the Department of Educational Psychology and Instructional Technology at the
Are
University
you
of
all
Georgia.
good? Can you hear and see?
A schema
Yes,
represents one's understanding
see and
of how something works or what something is. So here we have an initial schema. Child begins to develop an understanding of what a dog is from a picture book. And the parent reads, and this is what a dog looks like. Then the schema is forming. The child experiences disequilibrium. The child is actively constructing a schema about dogs. Child assimilates information and returns to a state of equilibrium. The child is thinking dog, ears, forelegs, tail. The assimilation process continues. The child expands understanding what a dog is by observing one at a park. The child checks, yes, the dog has ears, 4 legs, and a tail. This animal must be a dog. Then the animal barks. The child experiences disequilibrium. The child's schema about dogs does not include barking. Then, in petting the animal, the child notes that it's furry. The assimilation process is continuing. The child experiences disequilibrium. The child's schema about dogs does not include fur. Then, the child's licked by the dog. The child again experiences disequilibrium. The child's schema about dogs does not include licking. So as part of this assimilation process, the child is in an experience of disequilibrium. Here's this animal that barks, is furry, and licks. Is it actually a dog or not? It does have the ears, the forelegs, and a tail. So the child confers with the parent and says, dog. So while the child is in a state of disequilibrium, he or she is actively constructing meaning. He or she is building an internal schema or adding information to the existing schema. The child seeks reinforcement from the parent. The parent responds, dog. So the parent affirms and reinforces the new information. Assimilation is occurring. The disequilibrium resolves. The schema is organized to incorporate that new information. So, to the characteristics of 4 legs, ears, and tail, the child adds barks, furry, and licks. And so assimilation has occurred and the child has returned to a state of equilibrium. Now we have accommodation. So now the child sees a cat in the park. A new schema must be formed to acknowledge that this is a different animal, even though it has some of the same traits as a dog. So the child sees this animal walking around, goes down the checklist, 4 legs, ears, tails, hasn't heard hasn't heard any barking, appears to be furry, hasn't licked. This animal goes meow. Now we're in a state of disequilibrium. The animal is furry. The animal does lick, but it meows. Now this animal is climbing up a tree. So the child is in disequilibrium and is actively constructing meaning. He or she asks the parent to assist this disequilibrium. Dog? No, replies the parent. Cat. So the child is in a state of disequilibrium. The parent provides feedback and reinforces this is a cat. So now the child, as process of accommodation, creates a new schema. So the child is in disequilibrium. He or she is actively constructing meaning. And this new schema says cat, 4 legs, ears, tail, meows, furry, licks, and climbs. Accommodation has occurred. The child returns to a state of equilibrium. A schema about cats has formed. All right, so hopefully that was a good illustration for you of schema, assimilation, and accommodation. And again, I want to thank the people who put together this presentation.
Now what? You understand?
It's clear, ma'am.
So this is what happens in the class as well. So you facilitate because now we are talking about cognitive development. There are other aspects also to be developed, but in this theory we discuss cognitive development. So this is how cognitive development can be facilitated. You have to actually give them new experiences, new knowledge, then they will be in a state of disequilibrium and they will strive for equilibration through assimilation and accommodation. That is the idea, the cognitive process described by Piaget. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Now, let me now take you to the slides and now I'm into the slides. Can you see the slides? No.
Can see previous one, same one.
Yeah, same one only I'm looking at. Now you look at this side. First component we have discussed now. We are discussing Piaget's theory of cognitive development. There he discusses how cognitive development happens. And there are two components to be discussed. The cognitive process, referring to schemata, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. It's done. So we
Excuse
come
me,
to the second. Yeah.
ma'am, we can't see point presentation. Still we have that last part
Okay.
audio. We have paused that.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Right. Sorry. Now I think it's okay. Right. And then now we are looking at the stages, the second component of Piaget's theory of cognitive development. So we are looking at stages. Okay. Okay. Right. According to Piaget, cognitive development takes place in 4 significant stages. According to Piaget, the child's cognitive development, the child's ability to think, understand, comprehend, and problem solve. Cognitive development කියලා මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? The child's ability to understand, comprehend, think logically, and solve problems. Right? Taking new information. Right? All these are cognitive development. So the child's cognitive development takes place in 4 significant stages. So what are those 4 significant stages that Piaget states in his theory of cognitive development? The first stage, sensory motor stage. Second stage, pre-operational stage. Third stage, concrete operational stage. And the fourth stage, formal operational stage. You have to keep these terms in mind. You can't just think and write when it comes to psychology because they have their own terms, right? So you have to know them. So you can't just cram it and come and do the exam, okay? Sensory motor from birth up to 2 years. Sensory motor from birth up to 2 years. Pre-operational from 2 to 7 years. Concrete operational from 7 to 12 years. And formal operationals 12 onwards. Piaget specified them, right? According to Piaget, cognitive development takes place in 4 significant stages, namely sensory motor from birth up to 2, pre-operational 2 to 7, concrete operational 7 to 11, and formal operational 11 upwards or 12 upwards, right? So we have to take one by one and discuss how cognitive development happens in this particular stages. Are you ready for that? Others?
Yes, ma'am, we are ready. We are
Yeah.
waiting for the presentation.
Okay, good. Now the first stage. Normally we don't discuss everything, but you have to know the name of the stage, the average age he actually specified. He specified, and the significant cognitive developments taking place in this particular stage, and the experiment done to see whether they have developed that cognitive cognition. කියන හතර තමයි we are looking at. Okay, so we'll take stage 1. Stage 1 is sensory motor stage. Now you can actually have 4 columns, and you can take down notes on sensory motor stage. This sensory motor stage is from birth
Madam,
up to 2. Yeah.
are you displaying in accommodation occurred like that parent and child that
Yeah,
one?
yeah, ma'am. Yeah, still, ma'am, we didn't see that PowerPoint presentation. Still, we have that video, last part of the video.
I see.
Yeah, we didn't see that. We can't see.
Let me see. Now,
No, ma'am. I think, ma'am, first you have to end that screen sharing and then again go screen sharing and
all right. Okay, I will. Let me.
okay, ma'am.
It's a bit complicated. In a class, Puti. Let me kind of, I have to stop sharing. No, stop sharing cannot be done. No.
No, madam, not stop sharing.
End the video something, ma'am. Now it's okay, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry for the hassle. Right. Now you can actually make notes. I told you Piaget discusses 4 stages of cognitive development, and we are looking at the first stage. First stage is termed as sensory motor stage. The age he specifies is birth up to 2 years. But in some books, you can say birth up to 18 months. Okay. That is the average. There can be very high IQ. They will master these cognitive developments in 10 months. Those who are low in IQ, they will take more time. This is the average child. Okay. For the average child, the first stage is from birth up to 2 years or 18 months in some books. Okay. So now you know the name of the stage, sensory motor. Age specified, birth up to 2 years. Third column, how does the cognitive development take place during that stage? How does the cognitive development take place during that stage? During sensory motor stage from birth up to 2 years, cognitive development happens through sensory and motor activities, through sensory inputs and motor activities. From birth up to 2 years, the infant's cognitive development can be a result of the sensory inputs and motor activities the child engages in. What are sensory inputs? We have 5 sensors. What are the 5 senses or sensory organs we have?
The organs. Nose,
I,
eyes,
yes,
skin,
body.
hand. Yeah. Nose, ears, eyes, skin, tongue.
Okay, there was a connection issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eyes, ears, nose, tongue,
They
and skin.
definitely, they are the sensory organs, and then the sensory input can be see, what we see, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch, and what we hear. So that is sensory input. So you can see, in little ones, newly born children, if you walk into their rooms, lots of colors, rattles, and all these things are there, for the child to see, for the child to hear, and all. So that's the facilitation given for the child's cognitive development. And at the same time, motor activities, what they hold, what they touch. Now they actually can now squeeze, hold your fingers, like that. They go on developing their cognition, their thinking, their understanding through the sensory input and motor activities. That is how cognitive development happens in the stage 1 sensory motor from birth up to 2 years. Right? And then the most significant cognitive development. The most significant cognitive development during that stage. The most significant cognitive development that stage is termed as object permanence. Say it again. Say it, all of you. Object permanence.
permanent.
What is meant by object permanence? This is what is meant by object permanence. Okay. Now, before they develop object permanence, they do not know, right? They think that when you are there, they know you are there. But when you are not to be seen, they don't look for you because they don't know that you exist, that you are there. Right? But the child's cognition develops, then they develop this understanding. That is, even the things and people, they are not to be seen, not to be heard, not to be kind of smelt or whatever. They exist. The child develops that understanding. The child develops the understanding that things exist even if they are not to be seen, heard, or touched. Awesome. First happens the person permanence. Now, if you are a very young child, mother is seen, the child smiles at the mother and all that. But mother is not to be seen, the child doesn't look for the mother because child doesn't know that the mother exists. They understand only what they say, what they hear. But they develop that ability during this stage as the key feature or the highest cognitive development. Then the child knows person permanence. Mother is not to be seen, but mother is somewhere there. Things are not object permanence. Things are not to be seen, but they are there. They understand. Then that is the highest cognitive development according to Piaget that happens in the sensory motor stage. He terms it as the key feature of sensory motor stage. What is the key feature of sensory motor stage? Person permanence and object permanence. Person permanence happens first. People are not to be seen, they are there. Object permanence, objects are not to be seen, but they exist. If the child has developed that understanding, the child is now ready to move on to the second stage of cognitive development. For that, Piaget did an experiment that is termed as blanket ball experiment. What is it? Blanket ball experiment. Blanket ball, the child is shown a ball and then it is actually hid under a blanket. The child doesn't look for it. The child has not developed object permanence. Now you show the child a ball and you hide it under a blanket. Still the child looks for it. The child has developed the concept of object permanence. That means the child has accomplished all the important mileposts of cognitive development related to first stage of cognitive development, that is sensory motor. Before that, you know, the child is shown a rattle. The child just look at it, just hear, just look at the sounds and the colors. And then later on, the child smiles at it because the child likes it. Then later on, the child likes to grab it, motor activity, no? Grab it. And then child doesn't know by shaking it that he can make noise. But later on, the child shakes it and makes noises. He knows that by shaking it, you can actually make a noise. Likewise, through sensory input and motor activities, the child develops his cognition, and the key feature or the highest development during the first stage is understanding the concepts object permanence and person permanence. Person permanence comes first. Now they know even if the people are not to be seen, they are there. Otherwise, they don't know it. Right? And then later on, they know even the objects are not to be seen, they are there. That is object permanence, highest cognitive ability in the first stage. ඒටික ඉගෙන ගත්තනම් විභාගයට ලියන්න ඇති. Name of the stage, sensory motor. Age from birth up to 2. How do they develop their cognition? Through motor activities and sensory inputs. And what's the highest cognitive ability? That is object permanence. What does it mean? Objects exist even if they are not to be seen or heard. And then what's the experiment done? Whether the child has reached the highest cognitive level in the first stage. What is the experiment? Blanket ball experiment. Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Then there are 3 other stages, okay?
Assimilation, accommodation.
Now you have lot today to study, okay? දැන් ඔබට හිතන්න බලන් ඉඳලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. Okay? මොකද
All I
then
can.
you are in trouble. Okay? I want you to do very well. So I always want you to actually study on regular basis. Psychology is a subject like that. Psychology is a subject like that. So I'm showing you a small video clip now. See whether you can see and hear. No, this is not the one. I'm sorry. This is some other experiment. I have to have the blanket ball one. This is third stage one. That is a third stage one. I have a very kind of 1 minute one is there, but I think I can get it from the slides, Kayla. I'll show you. I'll get it from the slide. That is for the third stage. Let's see whether this is the one. No, that is also not the one.
No, madam, it's okay. Carry on your work. It doesn't matter.
Thank you for your understanding then.
Okay, definitely.
Yes, ma'am. No worries.
This
Very
is no,
nice of you then. You know me,
really
know me,
online
know me, know me, know me.
Effortlessly make a job-worthy resume.
Right, right. I will show you all the videos, 1 minute, 2 minutes videos next time. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
And now, one more thing. We have no time to discuss the other 3 stages. Okay. We will be continuing next time. But I want to tell you one more thing about this Piaget's theory. Piaget says cognitive development is age related. I repeat, cognitive development is age related.
Related.
That is why he specifies from birth up to 2 years is the first stage. 2 to 7 years is the second stage, like that. It is age related.
Yeah.
But age may vary. Age may vary. V-A-R-Y. It can differ. But
Yeah.
not the sequence. But not the sequence. Cognitive development is age related. But age may differ or vary. V-A-R-Y. But not the sequence. Sequence is the order of development. What is it? The order of development never change, never differ from person to person. We all have to go through the same order, same sequence of cognitive development. But age may vary. Why does he say age may vary? He himself says cognitive development is age related. Then again he says age may, samahara velawata venas වේ. But never the sequence. Order එක නම් කවදාවත් වෙනස් නැහැ. We all have to go through the same order of cognitive development. First stage, you complete it and then go to the second stage. You can't skip second stage and go to third stage. It never happens. The sequence is fixed. Age may vary. Why does he say that age may vary? You know it by now.
Because of their knowledge level, sometimes some students have diseases or some other things. So
ඉතින් අපි අද එක ඉගෙන ගත්තා. We learned the
yeah,
word for that. What is it? Nature versus
nature versus
nurture.
nurture.
Maturity versus learn. Veda. Got it? That is what you said, no, Chandna?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Hello?
I mentioned it.
Yeah. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
don't have to say diseases and all that. Now you know the
No.
subject. What is it? We all are
Yeah.
a product of nature and nurture. So
Nurture.
diseases, it may be nature, it may be nurture. We do not know, right? Maybe maturity is not there. You are born with some defect and all that. So then age may vary, no?
Yeah.
But never the sequence. That is, it has to be in order. Now, you know, sometimes we have mentally retarded children, right? Mentally retarded children are there. So for an average child, object permanence happens by the age of 2. They understand things exist even they are not to be heard, not to be seen. By the age of 2 for the average child. But if a child is mentally retarded, maybe he's 10 years. He's still in the first stage. Why? Nature, nurture, and nobody can skip. You have to go in the same order. Am I making things confusing for you?
No, ma'am. Everything is fine.
Right. Okay, then. So then I think we have no time, Puta, to continue. We will complete.
Hello, ma'am.
Once again, there was a connection issue because it's raining here.
That's why here also.
Yeah. And the whole day it was kind of drizzling and all that, and now it's raining. And you know, Puta, now next day when you come, that is coming Wednesday, don't get absent. All should be there. And you know, when you come, I do not specify, but from the second day, today's session, any part that you like, maybe an example of assimilation and accommodation, maybe the cognitive process by Piaget, maybe factors affecting lifespan development, nature versus nurture and maturity. Whatever, you study the whole thing and pick one part and then be prepared to talk about it in the class, because I also believe that you have to that study and be prepared for some part and then present. You actually shed your inhibition and then you will like talking in front of audiences. You will develop your teaching skills and all that will happen. Okay.
Okay,
So
madam.
try
We
to
will
do something like that and come prepared. And even if you can't be prepared, don't cut the class of the lecture. Come, I will not penalize you. But if you can, I would be very happy. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Right. Then I will be sending you by tomorrow the first session, second session materials. Okay, the PowerPoint and some notes for you, not lengthy pages and pages, limited to what you need. Then it's good for exam purpose. And next Wednesday, I'm giving you your first assignment as well. Okay, coming Wednesday, I'm giving you your first assignment as well.
Okay, madam.
Then do regular studies, and from the institution get your recordings and have them in a folder, the lecture notes and the recordings, and do regular studies. It's a matter of 10 sessions. Then after that you can do you're done with that. So you need to learn a lot and apply them in your everyday classrooms. So take interest, and that's all from me. Thank you very much. Then see you coming Wednesday.
Thank you very much, madam. Today lesson is
Okay.
we love it,
Good,
madam.
good, good,
Good
good,
night,
good,
madam.
good. Good night. Okay, bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Everybody.
ma'am. Good night.
Right.
Night.
Okay. Good night.